after I finished my PhD in astronomy, decided that as much as I loved astronomy, the world of theory and the world of the world of applied science appealed to me a lot more than the theoretical side. And so I switched to meteorology and then spent the rest of my career doing that. I think probably the simplest thing is to say it's someone who forecasts the weather, someone who tells you what the weather's going to be the next day. But it's not the person that you see on TV that tells you that. It's the person who sits behind them and does all the work. So it takes a bit of maths, quite a bit of science, and to understand what's happening in the weather and how to convert that into a sort of the information that people need to make decisions about whether to carry an umbrella, whether to hang out the washing, whether they can play football or not. Well, you play football in any weather, but but yeah, forecasting the weather. I don't think I ever would have planned the career I had. I followed my interests, I followed opportunities when they came up in terms of vacancies. I have a great passion for learning and for filling in gaps. And so if an opportunity came up to move into a role that sort of filled a gap I didn't have, or it was topical, like I got into climate change right at the time when we were starting to get into the UNFCCC, and I did, I think, COP1 to COP10, doing that, and IPCC. I was just, I'm tempted to use the word lucky, but I don't believe in luck. I think I took opportunities when they came along, and I just had a marvellous career. My biggest achievement would almost be my most recent one, and that is through the World Meteorological Organisation. I led the development of a new data policy, which just got signed off last year, a unified data policy, which obliges every member of WMO, which is over 190 countries of the world, to share data, and not just weather data, but weather, climate, water, ocean, space weather, cryosphere, atmospheric composition. So basically data involving the whole of the Earth system. And again, with all of the countries of the world, and not just with the national meteorological services, but with commercial sector, private sector, research sectors, anyone who actually wants access to it. So that's hugely powerful. Meteorology is global. It's a global science. You can't do meteorology if you don't talk to the country that's just across your border. If you don't know what's happening out on the seas, if you don't know what's happening in the tropics and in the poles. So meteorology is a global science, and the only way you can really do it is by sharing information globally, by collaborating globally. And so international collaboration is very, very much at the heart of everything we do. Social skills have become increasingly important as well, because as computers now do more and more of the day-to-day, the routine forecasting, the interpretation of the information that comes out, and making sure that that aligns with the decisions that our users have to make, working with the disaster services, working with health services on the impact of weather. Now it's more about, we used to talk about what the weather will be tomorrow. Now we talk more about what the weather will do and how it impacts society and decisions. And so bringing all that together really opens up the sorts of skills that you need in an organisation. We need communication specialists, people who can talk to people, people who can listen to people. So the breadth of skills in a modern meteorology service is much greater than it used to be. But maths and physics are still there. The best thing for me is to remove all of the barriers to learning, and to let kids get involved as young as possible in just understanding what science, what computing, AI is probably a little bit, up there for a primary school kid, but increasingly it'll be such a fundamental part of their life that I think informing them about or what the different opportunities are really important. Everyone can contribute, and we need to make sure that we are as inclusive in how we provide those opportunities to people to contribute. So for me, it's got to be such a big part of day-to-day conversation rather than trying just to target individual groups. I think mentoring, and for a woman in science, I think being a role model and a mentor is really important. In my career, I benefited from probably a couple of mentors, but one in particular who just recognised in me someone who could just be let loose, which he did admit to me many years later. And in effect, through my career, just encouraged me to reach out, to reach beyond where I was in a comfort zone, and take those opportunities as they came along. So having a mentor who understood the sort of challenges that I was facing and the desire I had to really stretch myself was really important to me, and provided, I think, was a big part of the success I had through my career. I've been in lots of different countries. I've seen the Aurora Borealis, and it's fantastic. I've seen the Aurora Australis. I've seen amazing thunderstorms and icebergs and all sorts of things. But I think I'd have to say that the thing that stands out most is for me, the most special time for me is when the weather comes to me. I live on Mornington Peninsula, down overlooking Port Phillip Bay, and we have the most amazing cloud formations that come across the bay. Just in the last sort of 6 to 8 months, we've had roll clouds, we've had shelf clouds, we have beautiful sunsets, and just to be in my house or out on the deck and seeing this amazing weather rolling across, I can't resist getting out my camera and taking pictures all the time. But I think that's the most special part to me, to have that just at the doorstep. I'd take the risk. Is the advice I'd give, is take the risk. Just stretch yourself. Don't stick in a comfort zone. Take the opportunities that come along, and go for it. Go for it. Nothing you try is a wasted experience, because if it doesn't work, then you've learned a lesson. And so learn that lesson and move